Hello again. Not done a video for a wee while, but this one is because I purchased a new thing. A nice thing. Laney thing. It's a Laney Lionheart. So this is in collaboration with Tom Quayle. So Tom Quayle apparently is a fusion player, and I've seen a couple of his demonstrations of stuff, and I think he's got an association with Laney, and he's some kind of like amazing player. I mean, has all these sort of fluid legato lines with all the fancy Dan scales and whatnot. I'm not really a fan of that kind of music personally, but you can't deny his talent and skill. So Laney have got together with Tom Quayle and a guy called Martin Miller to produce these combined analog front-end preamps and 60 watt class D amplifiers. So this is a little self-contained unit, which is basically a 60 watt amplifier that you can stick on the floor, plug into a cabinet with that speaker output, minimum 8 ohms. Don't plug this into like a 2 ohm Bassman cab or anything like that, because it'll blow up. But minimum 8 ohms, guitar input, all the stuff in the back, all the IRs, 4 IRs come with the product, 2 in the software application that you can plug this thing into via the USB connection, which is here. So it's USB-C, and you get a special branded Laney USB-C to A cable. I think it's an A cable, A or B? Anyway, the traditional USB, if your computer doesn't have USB-C on it. And you can load up the software, and you can change EQs in the IRs and stuff like that, and swap IRs in and out, so you can load your own. But from the factory it comes with 2 IRs selectable with that switch. So if you're plugging into a PA or a mixer, you've already got a couple of cabinets to make it sound good. And these are the Tom Quayle ones. So he's had a lot of input into this apparently, because I think he quite likes Laney products. And you know, after listening to this, so do I. I think it's fantastic. I know Laney have got a long reputation in the kind of like the music industry with like Black Sabbath and Tony Iommi and stuff like that. Quite kind of a unique sound, Laney. I mean, they're sort of equivalent to Marshall, but Marshall have really capitalized on their reputation, you know, with the Marshall sound and Jimi Hendrix and whatnot, and all the rock music that's been made since the mid-60s. Well, I think Laney are missing a trick, because Black Sabbath originated heavy metal, and Tony Iommi has got one of the most characterful sounds in rock. So I think Laney, they're probably a smaller company. I think they're probably family owned still, but this thing is made in the UK, which I think is a very important thing. Handcrafted in the UK, manufactured in the UK, and it's a really fantastic thing. 2 channels with a shared EQ and a global tone. So from the bottom row, from this control here, which is a global tone, and you can basically dial in different feels, from a sharp feel to sort of like a more kind of like a mellow, less attacky tone. I suppose it's a bit like a presence control, or the cut control in a Vox amp or something like that. And then you've got reverb, which is functional. It's not like the best, most lush reverb in the world, but it certainly adds a little bit of air to proceedings. And then a 3-band EQ, treble, middle and bass. So like a traditional setup in an amplifier. And like an amplifier, you've got 2 channels, switchable with that middle button, and you can set your overall volume and your gain for each of the channels, and also set bright, flat, or slightly dark, which is really quite useful. You can distinguish the channels. Now obviously you can set one a bit more dirty than the other, or anything that you really want to do. And it's also got a boost, which is also global. So when you switch the boost on, then it affects both channels all at the same time. So it's not without limitations, but I think it's similar to an amplifier. You'd have the same limitations in any amplifier, apart from the really complex switching ones. But it's a simple solution. Everything's available in the front panel. All you need to do is to plug it into a cabinet, plug the separate power supply in, and go. And I was quite taken with it. It's a piece of gear that I bought with my own money. Not sponsored by Laney or have any involvement with them whatsoever. I just thought it was a really cool thing, and quite fancied doing a demonstration of it just to let you hear it. It's very new to the market, apparently. There's 2 of them in GuitarGuitar, one from Martin Miller and this Tom Quayle one. So I think this is the one that Tom Quayle was demonstrating in his recent visit to Edinburgh on GuitarGuitar, where he did a demonstration of it. But it sounds amazing. It's got the bouncy bass of a really good valve amp. It's got all of the response of a valve amp. It's amazing how they do it, actually, because although I've not played any of the Black Star units, I know there's quite a lot of these on the market, these things that are kind of like pick up and go, simple solutions for gigs. Because no one really wants to sort of like pack a 4x12 into a car and a big head or a combo or something like that. Get to the gig and realise that they've smashed their output valves, and then they're left with nothing. So this can either be a complete replacement for or a backup to your normal amplifier. You can stick it in your bag just for emergencies, and 60 watts is plenty, because really anything past 2, this is too loud for home. I mean, it really is really, really loud. I mean, I've got an attenuator, but it's a bit pointless plugging this into an attenuator, because it's a Class D amp. It'll be linear all the way, but easily enough volume for gigs. I don't think it'll get past 5 in this thing, seriously. Anyway, I'll do a demonstration. I'll do the first part with a cabinet, 2x12 2-rock cabinet, 8 ohms, and then the second part I'll use both IRs on the emulated output, the XLR output, into my DAW, and I'll let you hear what it sounds like. I'll use a couple of guitars, and hope you get something out of it. Okay, cheerio. So I've got a Silver Sky here on the neck pickup, and I'm going into channel 1, and I've set it up for sort of like an edge of breakup type sound with the reverb about halfway. Quite convincingly like a valve amp, actually. When you dig in, it starts to break up. Add a wee bit more gain. So I've kind of like balanced the EQ here. Sounds great flat too, though. Did you hear that missed note there? Wish I could play like Tom Quayle. The pedal's not helping. He seems to sort of do this endless legato. It's incredible. I can't do it. I'm stuck with the hoary old blues licks, so that's all I can do. But the pedal sounds good. Bit more reverb. Let's go max on the reverb. On the neck pickup. I'm sure you can do Peter Green stuff. Obviously I can't play like Peter Green, but I can do this bit. That's about it, really. Quite a good reverb sound, a bit like a medium length tank. The trails aren't overwhelmingly long, so it doesn't get in your road, and it does add a bit of space to things. So it's a very useful feature to have, especially for a device that you can put in a rucksack and carry to gigs without a special reverb pedal. But it does have the effects loop, so you can put anything you want into it. You know, if you want to carry around multiple blue skies or any other reverb pedal, you can just plug it in there. It can be part of your pedalboard even. I'll turn it back to halfway. So that's kind of like an edge of breakup type sound. Maybe a wee bit more. The tone, the global tone can really, it's like a presence control on a Marshall. So with it all the way off, you get quite a smooth sound with the edge taken off. It's actually quite useful. The other extreme's a bit too spiky for my tastes. And this is really quite sharp. But it might be quite good with humbuckers. So I'll turn it down a notch till it's a wee bit smoother. Now this section here, you've got a bright switch. So for ultimate mellowness, you could rebalance the EQ and a wee bit more reverb perhaps. See how that sounds? That's quite smooth. Of course, it depends on the guitar. So there's enough tonal EQ in this thing to really cope with any guitar and to sound good. I would say the treble control can, this one, can be very spiky. Especially with the EQ at nominal. That's quite sharp. Not really a fan of that, to be honest. But as I say, maybe with a humbucker it might be good. So if you start flat, you can't go wrong. And you've got the for each channel you've got this bright switch, which is quite cool. And this is all global, so both channels are affected by that. Also the boost. So if you put that boost on, it also affects the other channel. So when I click into that, the boost will already be on. So the boost is just good for momentary kind of like solo interjections or something like that. Not particularly good for setting a sound up, but you know, you can put a distortion pedal into the front end of it, or the effects loop, and do it the traditional way. If you think of it like just another amp, then that's the way to think about it. Just think about it as an amp, because it's got a similar feature set to any other kind of like valve amp. But if I go clean, so see here, that's how that sounds. Turn down the treble on the guitar a bit. Sound that. Especially for home, but I'm sure for live you'd want a more sort of cutting sound. I mean, the two scenarios are completely different. What sounds good in the house will sound terrible live, if anyone can hear it anyway. So to go from the clean sound to the distorted sound, it's just a matter of pressing the button. Turn the treble on the guitar up again. Gain in this channel and a little bit less brightness, an equivalent volume. So this is the clean. So turn that up a wee bit. Okay, so I'll start off clean and go into the other channel. Never counting the boost, so let's get a bit of the boost. So the boost is on. I'm going to turn the volume down. There we go. So you can use the boost in clean or on distorted, but it's not part of the setup of the pedal, because if you go back to clean, the boost is still on. And it's loud. So the boost overrides the channel selection. But it's quite a useful unit. I'll try the XLR now and see what you think. Okay, so I'm coming out of the XLR into the Persona Studio 68C, and this is on the first of the cab emulations, one of the 2 IRs that come as standard on the box. So at the moment I'm in the clean channel, channel 2, and this is what it sounds like. This is the other channel, which I've set up to be a bit dirty. Okay, that's the first of them. Let's try the other cab simulation. Clean. Back to dirty again, and we'll just change the cabs, the IRs. Well, I can't really tell the difference. Let's try again. Yeah, that one's a bit brighter. Certainly better than no IR at all. Some boost. Well, I'm not an expert when it comes to IRs and IR loaders and stuff like that. It's not something I've ever dealt with, so I tend to use valve amps and have one setting and just plug in and go. So this is all a bit new to me, but sounds okay, and I'm sure in a gig that would be absolutely perfect. And it's good to have them. Sounds very dry without reverb. Sounds quite good to me, but I still prefer the speaker. So hope you've enjoyed that. Check one out for yourself. There's two models available, the Lionheart and the Ironheart. I think the Ironheart's a bit more gainy, whereas this one would suit like a more traditional kind of blues country type of thing, or even fusion if you're into it, as long as you work in your legato. Cheerio.